Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us. K&A Custom Crafts on Facebook.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. I am Ace, and of course, tonight we are joined by a group of wonderful gentlemen up here, and that's right. Let's go ahead and start out with Mr. Mess Around Dave. How you doing tonight?
I am doing great. To watch the Bulls opening game, great game, hard fought win. So, good night for me. How you boys doing?
You know what? I can't complain either. I'll tell you what, with me being a Pistons fan, you being a Bulls fan, I was actually expecting us to get blown out, but you know what? It was a hard-fought win. It was a very hard-fought win. For the longest time, I was like, this game could legitimately go either way. Like, I thought the game was going to go either way for a while.
It was a good game. It was exciting. It was back and forth till the last few minutes, and you know, they both shot poorly in the first half. The first half was garbage.
Yeah, I was just hoping to see the debut of Cade Cunningham, but then when they came out and said he's suffering from injured ankle, I'm like, yeah, he won't be back until next week, so we don't get to see his debut until next week, unfortunately. So, and then, of course, welcome in Mr. Big B there. He's rocking his Wolves jersey, as you can see, because his Wolves pulled off the victory today against probably the worst team in all of NBA.
No, we did play the Pistons.
The Houston Rockets.
How you guys doing tonight? I'm ready to talk sports and pay respects to a former teacher of mine, one of my favorite, Mr. Gill. Found out he passed away today. Sad news. So
you know what? I will give you a few minutes. Whatever you got to say, go ahead.
Yeah, prayers go out to his family, his former students. Mr. Gill, just want to say you will deeply be missed in the community and stuff like that. So rest in peace, Mr. Gill.
Was Mr. Gill, was he just what kind of teacher?
He was our gym teacher. He was the varsity basketball coach for many years at the high school. He was a fun-loving guy. Everybody, you talk to anybody that had him as a teacher, always remember him busting up the MC Hammer music during class. He had the Zuba pants, kind of baggy, kind of,
like it.
Yeah, exactly. So he was a fun teacher. Everybody enjoyed his class, and if you saw him outside of school, like years after, he still knew who you were. Might not remember your name, but every time he saw me, he always talked to me how I, always put the baseball on top of the school roof every time we had gym class outside. So, like I said, rest in peace, Coach Gill.
I'm guessing he was retired.
Oh yes, he was retired. I believe I want to say mid 2000s when I heard he retired. So I ran into him a few times after that at a Lynx game. Matter of fact, he was security for the Target Center there. Ran into him there, and then ran into him at a few other places in public. I saw him, he saw me. We kind of knew each other, but he was a good guy. He's definitely a guy that impacted a lot of students' lives.
Sounds that like would be an amazing cool. Man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, all right, awesome on that right there. That was a great memories right there for you for Coach Gill. So, anyways, we're gonna go ahead and jump into our first topic tonight. So tonight, I kind of wanted to dedicate this first topic because I know we do talk NFL, but I thought that we needed to talk about a topic that we normally don't talk about, because a lot of times when you think about NFL and you think about topics, mainly the people that cover anything topic-wise are, your top 5 quarterbacks, your top 5 running backs, your top 5 receivers. It was like, you know what? Let's change it up a little bit and think about something that normally people don't talk about. So decided, you know what? Let's talk about top 5 cornerback in the NFL. So when it comes to top 5 cornerbacks in the NFL, to me, this one this one actually wasn't too hard. And immediately when you think about it, you almost have 5 names that pop up in your head immediately. It's just boom, 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 boom. But I'm going to turn it over to Big B. So, Big B, I'll turn it over with you. Top 5 current cornerbacks.
For me, it was kind of hard because, you look at the stats, and it's one of those where it's a position that, if you don't got the stats, like Deion Sanders, everybody said he was a top corner of all time. And it's like, yeah, because nobody threw to him, so they're afraid of him. So you got to think of it that way. But for me, I'm gonna go honorable mention first is Diggs from Dallas. That guy right now is just a beast. 7 interceptions in 6 games, a couple touchdowns. I didn't put him in my top 5 because I still want to see him do more. But outside of that, I think he definitely is going to be up there. Number 5, I'm going to go with Stephon Gilmore. Number 4, Xavier Howard. I believe I pronounced his first name right.
Xavier Howard, yeah.
Yeah. Number 3, Tre'Davious White of the Bills. Jared Alexander of the hated Green Bay Packers.
Jair?
Yeah, him.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, don't even care. No, I'm just kidding. And then Jalen Ramsey, I think we all agree he's definitely up there because nobody throws to him, so they're afraid of him. He's kind of got that Deion effect, And that's one thing with corners is if you're not getting thrown to, you're shutting down half the field, so you're doing something right. So that's my top 5 with an honorable mention.
Well, exactly. And so that's why, when it came to it, a lot of people immediately go to, oh, well, you know what, a top 5 cornerback, he has to have numbers and blah, blah. I'm like, no, not necessarily. I don't always go in and look at numbers only based upon the simple fact that because you have certain cornerbacks that people won't throw at. They just won't do it because they're like, if they do it, they will jump the route or whatever. Like they're scared to throw their way. And so, when you think about the top 5, obviously, Xavier Howard was in there, even though this year he's kind of been banged up, but you still have to put him in there. It's just because I like his style of play. He's very aggressive to receivers off the line. He can jump routes. And that's one thing I think you need as a corner is to be kind of aggressive with the receivers. Get them out there timing because most passing routes are timing routes. So if you get them out there timing, I mean, the passing game's kind of going to erupt right there. Minus a few receivers. There's a few receivers you don't want to do that to because they will burn you every time. And Devontae Adams is one of those. You don't try and knock him off his route because he'll just burn you every time.
Oh, yeah. What happened this weekend?
And so, yeah, so I'm like, that's not somebody you want to try and knock off his route.
I think I remember messaging you, hey, he shouldn't have done that. You don't want to try and jam Adams. It's not going to happen.
No, definitely not.
He's so big, he's so physical.
So Xavier Howard, I definitely had to put in there at number 5. Number 4. This is interesting when it comes to number 4 because you could have put Humphrey in there. You could have put Marshawn Lattimore in there. It's really close. So I actually went with Marshawn Lattimore at number 4. And then at number 3, I went with Stephon Gilmore. And then number 2 by just a very close margin. I could not decide 1 or 2. I couldn't decide on either putting Jair at number 2 or Ramsey at number 1. But just because of longevity-wise, I put Ramsey at number 1 just because he's been in the NFL longer and he's been doing it longer. That's why I put Ramsey at number 1. But when you look at stats-wise, Jair, I don't know, he allowed the least amount of yards, and that's because, yet again, nobody throws to Jair's side, but nobody tries to throw to Ramsey's side too. So with that, you kind of have like a 1A and 1B. It's really close. So when it comes to that, it's close. But that's my top 5. It's so close. All right, mess around, Dave. Who do you have as your top 5?
Hold on, let me see what I got here. I wrote it down somewhere. Number 5, I'm gonna go with Jennings from the Bears. Jalen Jennings. He's an up and coming guy, and he's he's making some plays and he's standing out for the Bears. He's probably their best cornerback at this point. 4, I'm gonna go with Marshawn Lattimore. 3, I'm gonna go with Kyle Fuller from the Broncos. This guy's had phenomenal last few years. 2, I'm gonna put Jair Alexander, and 1 is gonna be Ramsey, of course.
So let me ask you a question, and this is no knock on your list. It's your list. It's whatever. I'm cool with it. But I'm just curious, what made you decide not to put Stephon Gilmore in the top 5?
Because he hasn't played this year.
Yeah, but he's still current in the NFL. So I'm just talking about, like current NFL corners. Would you put
if he had played this year, I would have probably had him at number 3 or number 2. And I would have taken Alexander down to number 3. Just because of longevity. Gilmore's done it longer.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying as far as the aspect of that, but I know the last couple of years Gilmore's numbers have dropped off a little bit, and people throw to Gilmore's side a little bit more. But there's like 2 corners that they really don't throw at very much at all, and that's Ramsey and Alexander. Those are like the 2 that's like stay away from them. Jennings, since he's so new, I couldn't put him up there yet. Diggs, he's new. I couldn't put him up there yet. You can give them some honorable mentions, definitely. Humphrey, you can give him some honorable mention.
I just kind of went with the homer picks, Kyle Fuller, former Bear.
Right.
Jennings a Bear, so
yeah.
I got to give my guys some love.
I know you have to give them love. You have to give them love.
And that's nothing against giving homer picks, because that's the team you watch, 16 times out of the year. So you're going to know who those guys are. So
yeah, but let me ask you a question about this. So Big B, with you being a Vikings fan, okay, you know that the Vikings got Peterson. So would you consider Peterson a top 5 corner?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't really seen him do much with the Vikings right now, but age, you're kind of dropping. You're getting the new younger guys in there, So, if it was a greatest corners, maybe put him up there, but currently, I don't know. I got to see more from him. Like you guys said. I mean, Dave didn't put what's his name on the top 5 because he hasn't played yet. It's kind of the same thing.
Gilmore. Yeah, Gilmore.
Yeah, Gilmore. So. It's one of those things where, he's a good corner. I'm glad we got him. Is he going to make the defense better? I don't know. I'm not seeing it right now. So, he's probably top 10 at least right now.
Another thing with Gilmore, he's going to a new team. He's got to learn a new system, get used to the defense. So he might fall off a little bit with that new team.
Oh.
Yeah, definitely. So Warren actually left a comment here, and I think he thought we're talking about all time here, but I know a few people though they weren't corners, they were safeties. So you look at Sean Taylor. Sean Taylor was a safety. Ed Reed was a safety. So those
Ed Reed start off as a corner though. I mean,
maybe 1 year, but he was a safety pretty much his whole entire career. But if you talk about like top 5 corners ever, I mean, obviously, Deion Sanders is obviously on that list.
Oh,
Woodson, Charles
Darrell
Woodson,
Revis, he's on that list. Darrell Revis was like the last actual like Revis Island dude that nobody's like, don't ever throw to that side. Don't ever test that dude.
No.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is most of those corners, it's a 50-50 chance. Either they're going to pick it off or, well, I should say 50-50, probably 33%, because they're either going to pick it off, they're going to knock it down, or the receiver's going to catch it. So the odds aren't looking good for the quarterback to throw that way. So
No, the odds are definitely not very good.
yeah.
And so sometimes, it's crazy because when you see a team and it's like a 4th and 1, right? And you're watching this really good corner and you see the quarterback throw that way on a 4th and 1, you're like, it's a 4th and 1, and you throw to that direction.
Yeah.
Why do you throw to that direction? You could have went the other way, but you're gonna go to that direction? Like, are you kidding me?
Ridiculous. It's just dumb.
But think about the Jets though. With when the Jets defense was really good and they had Revis on one side and Cromartie on the other side, you're like, oh my god. So you had to do something. And when the Jags had the no-fly zone, and it was Jalen Ramsey and Boye. It was one of those too.
Boye really fell off after that year, though. Big time.
Oh my gosh, yeah, he had, because he was really, really good with the Texans, and then he went to Jacksonville, and that's when they're like, oh my god, Boye is good. And then they had that one good season, and then after that, he like took that giant nosedive, and nothing.
I don't even think he's in the league anymore.
No, I don't think he is. But you had guys like Aqib Talib, Marcus Peters,
another good one.
Yeah, so you had some good ones. But all right, let's go ahead and jump into our next topic. That was a fun topic. I really enjoyed that topic.
I like that one too. Just kidding.
So those topics are always
different to get on the other side of the ball, because we always talk offensive side, like you said, Ace, and we don't really talk about the defensive side or kickers.
Yeah, and so that's what I was saying. I was saying next time I think we'll talk about top 5 kickers. Just
top 5 linebackers today.
Yeah,
linebackers would be a good one.
Just to give them some love, give the other position some love because they need it too. So our second topic we're going to talk about, and I only brought this up because this was a topic that people were have been talking about, because we know how potent the Bucs offense is, because we saw them win the Super Bowl last year, but it wasn't only based on their offense. They had a really good defense too. But you have the Cardinals now, who have made just this whole offseason just splash signings like crazy. They have AJ Green, Christian Kirk, DeAndre Hopkins. They go out and get Zach Ertz. They have Andy Isabella. They have Chase Edmonds in the backfield. They have James Conner. Whenever you look at Arizona's offense, they're loaded. The Bucs also have Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Rob Gronkowski, Leonard Fournette, Cameron Brate, OJ Howard, Scotty Miller. So when you look at both of these teams, who right now, if these two were to play, who right now would have the upper hand? And mess around, Dave, I'm going to go with you on this one. And I know people don't like Brady, so a lot of people would say, oh, well, I'm not picking the Bucs. But when you look at the team in general, what team would you pick right now and say that actually has the upper hand?
Well, I would have to go with the Bucs because of their defense. Their defense is so solid and stout. They can stop around there, play the basketball. I know they're banged up a little bit right now, but, with that defense, I think their defense would be able to hold Arizona just enough to where Brady can, do what Brady does and win at the end.
It's close.
It is really close. I almost wanted to go with Arizona because of what Kyler Murray's doing this year.
Yeah, I'll tell you, this one I went back and forth on because I looked at both rosters. I'm like, dude, this is insane. These rosters are insane. So I don't know. You could almost throw the Rams in there too because that offense is potent too. But you had to go with the Cardinals and the Bucs. And Dave, you said you're taking the Bucs just by a little margin.
That much. It's that close. I would almost say flip a coin, man. Seriously, they're so close. It's like, it's really close.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go with the Bucs because of their defense.
And I forgot Antonio Brown. So, But let me ask you a question here. If you were to look at both these teams, take defense completely out, and look at offense. What offense would you rather have?
Oh my God. Huh. Give me Tampa Bay's offense just because they have a better running game with Fournette.
Yeah, their running game is just slightly better. I mean, just ever so slightly better, dude.
Yeah.
It's whew. All right, I'm going to go
splitting hairs here.
I know. Let me go to Big B and see what Big B has to say.
It's close. I mean, Ace, when you brought this topic to our attention, kind of looked it up, and I'm like, God, Arizona's undefeated. Tampa's lost a game. Can't be that close of a. But I mean, they're only 1 point difference in the points for. Tampa's got 195. Arizona's got 194. It's tough. I don't know if I really could. It's a flip of a coin. I guess whatever side it lands on. If we're taking defense out of it, but looking at, God, yeah, part of me wants to go with the experience with Tom Brady and the group there, but something's said for the younger guys in Arizona, having fun and going out there. So. I guess you gotta go with Tampa Bay for what they did last year until Arizona does it. I mean, there's other defense or other offenses out there that Dallas has more points for. Buffalo. I mean, there's some offenses out there that I'm like when you announce it, I'm like, God, those two must be the highest scoring offenses, but they're not.
No, they're
but
not.
If we're talking between these two, it's tough. I mean, I guess I would have to go Tampa Bay and the experience.
Yeah, it's just, and the only reason that this is a debate is simply because when the power rankings came out, they actually had the power rankings. So the way that the power rankings went, they had. Dang there, mess around, Dave.
Sorry.
All right. They actually had Arizona at number 1. They had them as the best team in football, and then they had the Bucks at number 2. So that's why this topic was brought up and said, if you had to pick one right now, which one would you pick? And there was a lot of debate out there to where a lot of the so-called experts, though, were actually taking the Bucks and saying, but it's very close, and said it would be hard because just based upon the Cardinals having DeAndre Hopkins, possibly the top three receiver in football. So you could match up DeAndre Hopkins with Mike Evans. Which one you going to take? If you ask me, I'm going to take DeAndre Hopkins. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm going to do that. So would you rather have AJ Green or would you rather have Godwin?
Wow, I don't know why this is tough. I would almost say Godwin because he's younger and faster.
Yeah.
But Green's such a big body red zone target.
Yeah. And then would you rather have Christian Kirk or would you rather have Scotty Miller?
That's another good one too. That's wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and so this is kind of what I was comparing when I went to offenses. And then you even look at the tight end side. They're starting tight end, which is technically like Cameron Brate. Would you rather have – because now Arizona's starter is going to be Zach Ertz. So would you rather have Zach Ertz or would you rather have Cameron Brate? And so,
give me Ertz.
Well, yeah, I would take Ertz unless you throw – I mean, if you throw Gronk in there because they kind of use Gronk a little bit, I mean, that's a debate. But starting-wise, you're going to go with Ertz.
Yeah, but Gronk has been hurt. But let's say, so let's say Gronk comes back, okay, and then you go Gronk or Ertz.
Gronk.
I mean,
I go with Gronk because of being familiar with Tom Brady.
Yeah, and then Brady's security blanket. So
yep,
exactly. And then you have mess around Dave, who says, if you compare running backs, you go James Conner and Chase Edmonds, or you go Fournette and Ronald Jones.
I'm taking the Bucks running backs by a thin margin.
It's thin, so. But I'd probably go with the Bucks. On a slow margin. I mean, whatever you can say about Tom Brady. I mean,
Yeah, and obviously you can't compare quarterbacks. That's just not fair. So, you really can't do that. But welcome in Christy Wilson. She's also here. She's saying hi, guys. All right, so now we come to our third topic of the night, which is, give us a little bit of update on your current NHL team. How is your NHL team doing? Are you saying 3-0?
3-0?
Yep. And guess what? The Red Wings right now, we're actually 2-0-1. So we're starting.
3-0.
No, we're not. We're 2-0-1. So, but we're starting out a lot better than what I thought we were gonna do. Larkin missed the first game. The thing that frustrated me about the first game this season, okay, because I'll tell you what, Birdie had he had 4 goals in the first game. And so I was like, there's no way that he could have another game like that again. But when you look at that first game, we had Tampa Bay on the ropes. Tampa Bay was on the ropes. We had 2 3-goal leads in that entire game, and they came back and beat us in overtime in game 1. But Larkin also wasn't there. I think with Larkin, it might have helped us a little bit more. We might have been able to seal that victory. We're able to score a lot more goals this year with Larkin and Birdie and Fabian. We're definitely getting better. 2-0-1. I'll take it to start the season. It's definitely better than 0-2. Mess around, Dave. I'll go to you on this one.
I don't want to talk about it. Okay, only because I have to. My Blackhawks are currently in last place in their division. They're 0-3-1. They've got 8 goals for. They're 17 against, -9 differential. They're just terrible. They're not good this year, and they're not going to be good.
Yeah, so I don't know if you saw that post that I sent you, but a Blackhawks fan were like, the Blackhawks are going to be an atrocity until they get a brand new GM, a brand new coach, because they're like, they haven't made any smart moves.
Nope.
But I remember
I was them. I would take their best player, which is Patrick Kane, and I would trade him and get some younger assets, some draft picks, because they're not going anywhere.
Really?
I would.
So you're saying you would actually take Patrick Kane,
yes,
and you would actually trade him,
blow it up, rebuild. It's time.
Wow,
I know it's harsh, but it's the reality we're in. We're not going to compete this year, probably for the next 2-3 years. So blow everything up, start over from scratch, get some assets, some trade.
And the thing is mess around, you're not wrong. I mean,
you're not wrong. Yeah.
I mean, granted, it's only 3-4 games in. Maybe give it some time. But if you're down at the bottom still towards the trade deadline, then yeah, unload Kane, get some assets for him.
Yeah. So I can definitely see if you don't have any confidence that your team's going to do any good. So mess around. If you look at your Blackhawks and think you guys are not going to do anything, you guys have no shot at the playoffs. If you guys are going to finish close to last, then absolutely, then take Kane and trade him. But
I don't know, because last year they started out slow too. They rebounded, got hot, and made the playoffs. So you never know.
So maybe it's just too early to try and jump ship.
It could be. I'm just saying, if they're not in contention by the time, like Brandon said, or Big B said, the trade deadline comes around, then blow it up, start over.
But I'm so used to the Blackhawks being good. I'm seriously just used to them being good.
Well, them in Detroit, it's always hard to talk about hockey and not be like, oh, Chicago, Detroit's going to be in the playoffs easily, and
they messed that up when they fired Joel Quenneville.
Yeah, but Detroit's kind of been an atrocity though for the last couple of years. So it's yeah. All right. So Big B, I'll go to you now on this one.
I gotta say, so far, 3-0 had a come from behind overtime win last night. Still trying to figure out how they scored that tying goal. I saw the puck from behind the goal passed up to the front, and then in a blink of an eye, everybody's cheering. I'm like, okay, how did they score the goal? But then they had a 3-on-1 in overtime and scored it. So, so far I'm happy 3-0 on their way to 82-0, just like the Timberwolves. So, we're living high here in Minnesota.
So are you confident though about your team?
Yeah, I mean Minnesota should, right now the way they're looking, the way they're fighting, give me the playoffs. I might be smoking some Shanky. I don't know. I mean,
no. Hey, it's okay to say that. Like, yeah. It's okay to come out and say that your team's going to make the playoffs. I just know as a Red Wings fan, and us starting out 2-0-1, I'm not ready to call us a playoff contender yet. Yeah, I'm just saying that.
I know we're not going 82-0, so everybody can stop and. Tell me I'm high. I mean,
no, I know that. I know
81-1 is fine too. I mean,
yeah, I was gonna say I know you didn't mean that. I'm just saying that with us starting out 2-0-1, it's a better start than what I thought we were gonna do. So I've been a little excited to start the season because we managed to get in a few wins. Do I see us as a playoff team? Not yet. I'm hoping so. But I still think we need to make her one or two more moves, and I'm really hoping that we do before the deadline. And maybe just maybe the Blackhawks will be interested in trading Kane, and we can go in and take some Patrick Kane away, and he can come to Detroit.
That would be something if but yeah, I mean, it's early. Yeah, I'm confident right now. Next week I'll probably say that we should fire everybody. I mean, it's Minnesota sports, but You got to live on the high road right now, as Dennis Green would say. And 3-0, hey, nothing's better right now.
Definitely. And welcome in Isaiah. So, you know what?
Isaiah, what are you wearing there?
He's wearing a Dodgers shirt.
I'm wearing a blue shirt. No.
No. I think it's a Dodger blue.
It says Dodgers.
How'd they do today?
First of all, I'm not a Dodgers fan, okay? I just got
this there's a shock.
Friend. I got this shirt from a friend. I'm not going to refuse free clothes or free items. So, yes, I'm not a Dodgers fan, and the Dodgers, they let me down tonight, man. And I don't know what I'm going to do if the Braves reach the World Series, because I know that Adam is not going to let me hear the end of it if and when the Braves make the World Series because of some pathetic words that I said, like, I believe, a month ago when I said my Phillies were going to go into the ATL and plant our P flag right in the Braves' home turf, and we're going to go on this amazing run, win the division, and then have lots of success in the playoffs. And just to see the Braves turn around and go to the World Series,
You started this. You, sir, started this yourself.
Yeah, how does that humble pie taste?
So I'm just saying this right now, okay? So when did our season turn completely around? Our season turned completely around when we went and played that 3-game series against the Padres. We beat them, and then guess who we came in and swept? That's right. We came in and swept the old Philadelphia Phillies. That's when we got hot. As soon as we swept the Phillies, that's when we started catching fire. And I was like, thank you, Isaiah, and your Phillies, because that's when it happened.
Yeah, eat some crow.
But those words spurred you guys, man. Those were the words that spurred you guys.
Isaiah, wait, Isaiah, are you taking credit for the Braves' victories now?
Can I take credit?
No, you lose again.
Definitely not. Isaiah loses again. So anyway. So when it comes to it, we have a few comments here from Christy Wilson who's saying her team, which is the Vegas Golden Knights, they're starting out with a record of 1-1. She said that the Golden Knights are currently trailing the Blues 2-1. She says that Patrick Kane might make a good addition to the Golden Knights. You never know, maybe not. And then Callan is also saying, yeah, it's a Dodger shirt. And then Christy Wilson's projecting Braves and Red Sox in the World Series.
I like that series.
Hi, Isaiah.
Yes.
There's Callan. So,
yes.
Chicago, you know what? since Callan is on here, we are going to actually give a shout out to Chicago. So guess what? Since Callan is here, this is Callan's team. Callan, you have the floor. So you go ahead and you take it away. Congratulations, sir, to your Chicago Sky picking up the victory. So go ahead.
I hate to have a disclaimer, but I'm like Isaiah. I more so follow players more than actual organizations, and Candace Parker is one I've followed since her time in college and in things like that. A sidebar story: one of my first pro athlete interviews was actually with Candace Parker after the 2014 season, and I mean, I'll admit, Game 4, I thought the same exact things about Game 4. Just to kind of keep my thoughts brief, though, is in regards to, here that she had, twice, two chances in 16 and 17 to win Game 4 at home. They lose to Minnesota both those times. They end up winning and losing a Game 5 to win the title. But then, and then it's almost like, the Demons are like, they come back. And I think, though, her post-game remarks were so spot on, though, was, they fell behind by 9. They were down 11, in the fourth quarter. And then they just, the belief and trust in everyone there. And of course, they finally got shots to fall. And I really think, though, that when she made the game tying 3, though, with about 2 minutes to play in the game to tie the game at 72, and that crowd at Wintrust just got totally reignited in the battle. That's where I think Chicago won the championship. And I think more so, not just that, though, but keeping that Phoenix offense and Taurasi and Griner and Turner and Diggins Smith, scoreless, I think, for like the last 4.5 minutes plus of the game. And the only point the Mercury got after that was just 2 free throws from Taurasi, who was not, and I remember coming on here and saying, I'm not going to count Taurasi out. But then she was in her own head, though. I mean, you definitely could see that, I think, fellas, in this game where, the technical foul, the personal fouls, the turnovers, and her shots not falling. But then she got the shot to fall, though. But I think, though, it was still that Phoenix, I think, though, in a couple of games that they had, though, guys, where they had the lead, they just didn't know how to close out the game. And and this is a team with Taurasi, Griner, Kia Nurse, Skylar Diggins Smith, with those 4 big names. How do you not close out this game? But more so, I wanted to kind of talk a bit more about Candace Parker herself, though. I talked to a couple of my friends who aren't really big women's basketball fans, but they're obviously big basketball fans. And one of my friends called me and said, hey, I think we talked for like half an hour after this thing, or after the game had concluded, or a day or two before or after it had concluded. And they're like, who out there wrote the script of the hometown kid, one of the hometown kids? Again, I don't want to discount Allie Quigley, who's from Joliet, Illinois. But who out there was sitting around one day over this offseason writing out this script of, Candace Parker leaving the LA Sparks organization after 13 seasons, going home to Chicago, to her hometown, Naperville being close by, though. And one more sidebar to that is what I've also heard, though, from a lot of friends of mine or athletes I've actually had a chance to talk to. They say, believe it or not, that playing at home is more of a headache than it is a blessing to be playing at home, because, all your friends are like, oh, can I get tickets to, that you have too many distractions that get up here in your head. And, so, you have that factor. You have Candace Parker leaving her organization behind after 13 seasons of service, plus the first team title in 13 years when they won it in 16 after not winning it since 2002, when they beat New York in 2002. And then, so she leaves, goes to Chicago, is separated from her daughter for a majority of the year, if not, a good chunk of the season. They start the year 2-7. She's not 100%, missing games because of injury. They lose 7 straight games. Then they bounce back with 7 straight wins. Then they have a very sour end of the season where they literally had lost, I think, 3 or 2 of their last 5 games, a couple of which were blowouts. And they enter the postseason 13-13 or 16-16. They entered the year right at 500, and they're like one of the last teams to get in, though. But they get hot at the right time with knocking off Dallas. They somehow, some way stunned the Sun. I still can't believe that happened with them doing that. And then obviously having to play Phoenix. And again, for me, it was very nostalgic, seeing Candace play Diana, because without those 2 players, I'm not as big of a women's basketball fan, advocate, supporter without those 2 in their careers. But also, guys, I think just more than anything else, though, Candace Parker winning this championship, I think, should tell everyone who despises her or doesn't like her to be quiet and, like the guy in Square 5, Isaiah Leung, to hold the L. Because here, guys, 2 years ago, this exact player, Candace Parker, voted most overrated by her fellow peers and players, voted the league's most overrated player, gets benched by Derek Fisher during the 2019 postseason. And they had I think that really, no one's ever going to say it, but I think that with Candace and D Fish having somewhat of their beef because of how she got pulled in that playoff game in Long Beach for the second half, she played 11 minutes. With all of those obstacles, even before that, all the last second losses, to the Stars or to the Mercury, the Lynx, 2 or 3 years in a row, all those obstacles and all the noise and all the banter from fans who, aren't big fans of her, and to see her win not one title, obviously in 16, get the first one, but then go home, leave that organization behind in Los Angeles and go home and win her second title. I mean, that should, I think, tell anyone out there, all the critics can just, be quiet and hold that L for the remainder of the offseason until next season begins.
Absolutely. Now, the one thing that I was shocked about, like, Tarazi got fouls early. It was early on. I remember you messaging about that. I went back. I got to watch the preview when they replayed it, because obviously at that point, the one thing that I was disappointed in the most is I did want to watch that game. However, the NFL was going on, and my favorite team was playing at that time, and so I'm like, why in the world would they choose to put a WNBA championship game on at that time?
A clinching game nonetheless, and it's at noon on ABC when you literally have, people like yourselves, you guys, minus me, watching the NFL, on CBS or Fox or watching Red Zone, where I was actually at a youth baseball game before I went to see the Rolling Stones on Sunday, but I was keeping tabs on it, watching this, watching the box score, basically watching the box score, because, not because, but, and I, like I said as well, though, fellas, I just did not have a good feeling because of how Candace, herself, was 0-2 in these, winning the title on your home floor kind of games, lost to Minnesota both in 16 and 17. And then it doesn't start off on the right foot, though, in this game 4. And, you fall behind by 7, you're behind by 9, then you fall behind 11, and I think, though, like I said, though, that Candace had it right, though, or said it right, though, with Holly Rowe in her post-game interview, was that, this was like the first true time that Chicago really embraced this organization. Because here in 2014, they had gone to the finals, but again, Delle Donne was not 100%. She had a banged up back and really was not effective, and they basically wore down. And of course, the Mercury had won 29 games that season. But I just think that more than anything else, though, is that the sky got hot, though, when you had to get hot. And I think as well, when you have Allie Quigley, who was shooting the ball great, but the shots weren't falling right away and stuff like that. They just found another gear. But like I said, Adam and mess around Dave and Brandon and Isaiah, though, is that the Mercury, after that blowout loss on Friday, like I said, to me they just looked like they were worn out and gassed, because of the fatigue factor of all of the the constant playing of, like, the single elimination games and things like that. Then that 5-game series against Vegas, and I think just kind of sucked the wind further out of them. But of course, Diana having foul trouble, shots not falling, and obviously the post-game rhetoric of her shattering the door of the locker, which, by the way, the Sky brought the door to the parade yesterday in downtown Chicago. So, MVP, true MVPs are the folks working at Wintrust. But, certainly, obviously, I feel great for Candace, second title in 5 years or more. So I really feel great, though, for the people of Chicago who have been looking for a basketball winner post Michael Jordan and the Bulls in the 90s. But, the hometown kid does it. Both hometown kids, here, Quigley and Candace played against each other in high school and things like that. But, like for Quigley, Courtney Vandersloot, both those players have been so loyal to that organization for their entire career, and seeing their emotion and stuff. James Wade, again, who had won some with Minnesota as an assistant coach under Cheryl Reeves' watch up with the Lynx, and Crosby. the team trainer, but also, but I think as well, like I said, though, as well, Adam and the rest of the crew here is that, it was kind of, like we said about the NBA postseason last year, it was refreshing, I think, to kind of see, some new faces. And again, here, guys, you have the 5 and 6 seeds making the WNBA finals, which I think, though, further, I think, guys, just adds onto this new playoff format, though I think it still could be tweaked a bit. Seems to do wonders for this league, though. I mean, I know that 8 of the 12 teams get in, though, but with how we have seen, like, fresh faces, like Connecticut last season playing Seattle, or years prior to that, Vegas getting in, LA, Minnesota getting in, and their two battles right there. And then, of course, Chicago gets in, where, again, where basically, the regular season almost doesn't matter. I mean, you could be like the Sun and win 24 games, but still bomb out because you're not getting shots to fall, or you're not playing your best. And things of that nature. But certainly, congrats to Chicago and those very, loyal, devoted fans who've been going to those games since 2006 when the team became, a franchise. And obviously, I think still kind of licking the wounds a bit from 2014. But, seeing, Chance the Rapper out there, seeing those sellout crowds in Chicago, and just kind of seeing how that crowd kind of helped that team, get off the mat when they were not playing their best, down 9, down 11, what have you. And then, big shot after big shot, big rebound after big rebound. But I think more so, guys, we always hear the saying of, like, a picture speaks 1,000 words. I think the photo of Candace Parker getting the rebound off the final missed shot and sprinting down the floor, Giannis style, after they beat Phoenix in the NBA Finals last season, and hugging her mom, her dad, bringing her daughter out is like, that's every hometown kid's dream, is to bring the title back home. And certainly a salute to Chicago in that fan base, and, of course, to Candace Parker for her second title. And, again, James Wade and the whole group, and also Kalia Copper winning Finals MVP. Definitely, I think, one of the great, WNBA stories of the past several years.
All right. So, Callan, since you're on here, I got to catch Isaiah up here on a few topics, so you can kind of listen to him, and I know Mess Around and Big B are going to probably give him a hard time too. So, Isaiah, your question is right here. We're talking about who has the more potent offense. Is it the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or is it the Arizona Cardinals?
Is this really a question?
It is.
It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because they're proven. I still don't believe Arizona is for real. My 49ers went into the desert. We went into
Way to go, Adam.
I'm forgetting the stadium's name. I think it's like SunTrust Arena or something like that.
State Farm Stadium.
Thank you, Callan. State Farm Stadium. I'm sorry.
Isaiah loses again. Isaiah loses again.
Always got to bring up the Niners.
I was gonna say Marlins. I had like Marlins Park in my head for some reason, but like
that's Lone Depot Park now, sir.
right. But
Isaiah loses again. Isaiah loses again.
Arizona is good. Don't get me wrong. They're a good team, but you got Tom Brady, you got Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Fournette, Gronkowski. Like, that offense is loaded. They're experienced. They have championship experience on their team. With Arizona, I think that they are a good football team. I think their offense is dynamic, but there's going to come a point where they play good defenses and they're going to get shut down when Kyler Murray is not able, when he's getting rushed. Like we saw with the 49ers, when they rushed him, Kyler Murray did not look comfortable at all. When they stuffed the running game and they forced Kyler Murray out of the pocket, they didn't stuff him at all. They only gave up 17 points. That was the lowest output that Arizona has scored.
Took an L, sir.
So I give me Tampa Bay. It's Tampa Bay for sure.
Did you see what the Arizona Cardinals did to the Rams?
I did.
And you're saying that the Rams don't have a good – they have Aaron freaking Donald. They have Jalen Ramsey. Are you kidding me right now? You're saying that they can't beat a good defense? They just took to town.
Bias.
Oh, absolutely. Bay Area bias for sure. Because every time something comes up, it's always the Niners. It's always, the Niners.
Compare it to his own situation, not him. Then again, he doesn't know, but San Diego hasn't won a pro title in baseball or football since JFK was president. There you go.
Right. And Isaiah, are you forgetting that the Cardinals have DeAndre Hopkins. They have AJ Green. They have Andy Isabella. They have Christian Kirk. They now have Zach Ertz. They have James Conner. They have Chase Edmonds. Do I need to keep going on, dude?
I know that they have those pieces. But let's look at it. Ertz, come on, man. Less than a year ago, people were calling him washed up. There were people on social media all over the place saying this dude was washed up.
The only people calling him washed up is you.
Is he really going to go to Arizona and be this dynamic tight end like everybody's expecting? I'm not sure. Hey, if he does, kudos to him.
He doesn't have to be. He doesn't have to be.
What's up?
He's the fourth option in Arizona. He doesn't have to be dynamic.
Well, I know, but look at the other weapons. DeAndre Hopkins, he's a great talent. You know, I took my L when it came to him. You look at the other guys. AJ Green, Then you have who? Edmonds, right? Edmonds and Connor. They're really good players, but let me see them face a great defense, not named the Rams.
Not name the Rams. Hold on. You said wait. Before you said let's wait till they face a good defense.
This year. They're usually known for defense over 102 years of existence, as you'll see on Halloween there, Square 4.
Yeah, I'm saying originally you came out and said I can't wait until they face a good defense, and then I said they faced the Rams and they thrashed them, and then you're like, well, a good defense not named the Rams. I'm like, no, you can't change it up. You can't change it up now.
Let's take into consideration though that the Rams had played the Buccaneers the week before, and it was a big win for them. So I think you could blame them for being hungover. So
no.
Oh no, come on.
Excuses, come on, man.
Come on, you can't. Oh man, you're killing me right now. And then of course, okay,
that's why I am on this program now, Adam, to bring some sanity from MI6 over here.
So Isaiah, top 5 cornerbacks currently in the NFL.
You really are going to get me to name them off the top of my head. Wow.
It can't be worse than you trying to name hockey teams.
If you are a true NFL fan, if you know a lot about NFL, you should basically know who the top 5 corners in the NFL are.
That's not me. Go for it, Isaiah. Good luck.
All right. Number 1, Jalen Ramsey. This dude is an absolute stud. I watched him play all season long. He is fantastic. Then I think you gotta give number 2 to Trayvon Diggs.
Oh my gosh, dude! I am. If you're saying number 2, there's no way you can put him in number 2. He's still young. You can't do that, man.
I get he's young, but he's got 7 interceptions.
You're gonna put him over Jair Alexander?
You cannot put him over Jair Alexander. You can't do that.
Well, thank you for another name, Jair Allen. Look, I'm just trying to toss names. I didn't have time to prepare for this. You're literally giving me I don't know. You're giving me 30 seconds to get my list down. I don't even.
Now name all 32 NHL teams. Let's go.
You can't name 5.
I can't even. I got you 5: Sharks, Blues, Blackhawks, Penguins, and Red Wings.
Ooh.
Got 5 right there.
You got 5.
Which one's your favorite?
All of them.
I grew up a Penguins fan, but for me, the Sharks are in my backyard. So I guess I'm a fan of them, but I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh no.
I don't know, Isaiah. I don't know.
Back to your top 5 corners.
Yeah, you haven't finished yet.
How about Deion Sanders?
I got Jalen Ramsey, right? And then Diggs.
Yep, you used that one already.
Dude, this might be so bad because I literally haven't. Jair Alexander at number 3.
He already said his name.
2 more, go.
Can you even name 2 off the 49ers?
Yeah, Josh Norman, but I'm not going to put him on the list. Xavier Howard from the Dolphins.
Oh, my God, you got another one.
Would be number 4. And wow. I'm trying to get to the number 5 when it's there's really no name that's coming to my head right now.
What? Dude, how about Lattimore? Humphrey.
Lattimore, there you go.
Okay,
Lattimore.
Humphrey.
Peterson.
Tre'Davious White. Stephon Gilmore. Come on, man. Come on.
If you hadn't given me the name that you gave me just now, Ace, I would have probably said Josh Norman is my number 5 because I was like that was like the name that was like that I could get, but I was like, I don't know.
Josh Norman is, what do we call it? Washed?
Oh,
Pretty much at this point.
He's washed.
Say Richard Sherman.
There you go. I was gonna say Richard Sherman.
No,
too.
no. Come on, dude. The guy's like 50. The dude's like 50.
What did I do? Oh my God.
Yeah, look what you did, Mister. You opened up this can of worms. This is all you.
Did.
This is all you.
Let me talk about the Lakers. I have a better idea than that.
Hey, at least messing around Dave's basketball team on the women's side has won a title more recently than the Suns, the Mercury, and the Lakers. So there you go.
We are not talking about your freaking Lakers because this is not a Lakers show. So we're not doing that. This is not a Lakers show, sir.
Thank goodness.
Definitely. That was one thing that I made clear.
You take that talk to the Bad Network.
Yeah,
this is nicely over there. That's all they talk about is the Lakers.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, anyway, Isaiah, you named your top 5 corners.
Yes.
You named, for some reason, you think that the Cardinals aren't even close in comparison to the Bucks, which I think is freaking ridiculous. I don't completely understand that. Wow. I'm not gonna even ask you anything about hockey because I know.
How about my Sharks 2-0?
All right, so let's hear what you got then. You want to do a little hockey talk? Go ahead. Give us a little hockey talk.
All right,
who did they beat?
They beat the Golden Knights, and then they beat the Blues, I believe, the Vancouver Blues. On Sunday night,
And then the Vancouver Canucks.
I mean,
oh my God,
Blues, the Columbus Blues. I'm sorry, but yeah, the Sharks playing really good. They're playing outstanding hockey right now. Their goalie, his name is Martin Jones. He's doing great, keeping the puck out of the net. And then I think what the Sharks really need is they need a player like Patrick Kane.
They need a coach like you, Isaiah.
Patrick Kane he's an impact player at the forward position. And the Sharks right now, Pavelski's gone. He's gone to Dallas, I believe. Thornton's no longer there. Marlowe's no longer there. The Sharks have had history of great forwards on their team. I think right now the guy that they have is their best player is Erik Karlsson, who they got from the Tampa Bay Lightning, I believe. But he's like their only great player right now. Hey, I'm trying to talk hockey here. Evander Kane, this dude, whether he's
suspended for 21 games.
I know. I was gonna say that he's suspended for 21 games. He just can't stop getting in trouble, whether it's for betting on games or for breaking COVID rules or stuff like that. Like he's just a troublemaker. You can't really get rid of him because he's got a big contract, so you're stuck with him. I think that Bob Boner, their head coach, I think he's like a decent head coach, but I think that they should fire him and just hire Mike Babcock because I think he's a top-tier head coach. And I think the Sharks, they need a top-tier head coach. I think Boner is a puppet compared to Mike Babcock. But the Sharks, if they want to contend, I think they need to bring in Patrick Kane because I think they need that they need an elite forward to pair with Karlsson, pair with Tomas Hertl. You have Martin Jones on the back end guarding the net. I think that with that would be a hell of a defensive team, hell of an offensive team. And if the Sharks get Kane, watch out because I think they're winning the Stanley Cup.
What?
Hey, I tried my best. There you go. There's your hockey.
A Vancouver Blues jersey.
I love it. The Vancouver Blues.
Anaheim. Did somebody last year call them Anaheim Sharks too? I mean, I don't know.
Hey, I sounded like
idiot.
Barry Switzer on ESPN.
Barry Switzer.
Thanks for the comedy, Isaiah. That's great.
Yeah, that was good. That's what was gonna hit the button
Barry
bar.
Switzer as a NHL on ESPN analyst.
Yeah, he's the guy that does the ESPN.
His
analyst.
name is Barry Melrose.
Melrose.
Barry Switzer.
Oh my god.
I don't even follow hockey, and I know that name.
It's making my head hurt.
I think we just found a new TikTok little.
And by the way, Isaiah, Martin Jones doesn't play for the Sharks anymore. He plays for the Philadelphia Flyers. Your goalies are Aiden Hill and James Reimer.
Hey, they're good.
Apparently not if you didn't name drop them.
So to finish up the show, because I don't even know what to say after that. That starts off bad immediately. The Vancouver Blues right off the bat.
I'm laughing so hard I'm crying over here.
So to finish it up, we'll go to our last topic that I know everybody here knows about. So maybe Isaiah could save a little bit of face on this one anyway. But I can't do it. Sorry. I can't do it. Anyway.
Hey, so let's do a hockey show. Let's set up a hockey show.
Okay.
Our last topic tonight. Our last topic tonight is going to be the MLB playoffs. We're going to talk about both LCSs and then potentially the World Series.
Well, we should have informed that Isaiah that the teams are in Boston and Houston, and LA and Atlanta. So he knows the teams.
Well, we got against.
Hey, Chris, you gotta mark that one where it says Vancouver Blues. We gotta put that on TikTok.
Yeah, we gotta do that. We gotta do a TikTok video. Anyway, Goose Bravo. Okay, so
We're totally off the rails at this point.
I know, Callan. I'm gonna start out. I can't. You know what, guys? That's it. It's over. Thanks for watching another episode of Sports Minute. We'll see you guys later.
Have a good one.
Have a good night.